Hey, you're up.
What's going on? How's everyone doing? Can they hear me?
Great.
Jake, I'll just start if no one else will.
Yeah, go ahead.
Jake, just wondering, what was today like to get back on the field and just to maybe have masks and all that stuff? Just what was this experience like for you?
It was definitely a new one, but it was good to get back out there and be around everyone and get back to playing football, something we haven't done in a while. Obviously, we didn't get spring ball, so it was fun today.
What's this whole process been like for you to be here though? I think the last 2 months and get to this point of playing and practicing.
I mean, I'm happy we're finally here, and given everything that's come up and all the different curveballs we've gotten so far, it's a positive thing that I think we've come this far. So excited about that.
Thanks, Jake.
Who can investigate?
So back in March, you talked a little bit about how you were feeling very healthy, that you were feeling the healthiest that you've had in a very long time.
Yeah.
And that with quarantine and everything going on with no practices, that you said it was very important for your team to just stay in the best shape physically as possible.
Yeah.
Now that you guys are back together, what have you seen as far as the physical health of all of your teammates?
I think everyone's pretty healthy for the most part. Everyone stayed on top of what they needed to conditioning-wise and lifting-wise. So we came back and everyone took care of business over quarantine.
And you also mentioned that obviously some younger guys might have to go through the process of learning a little bit more quickly because you missed out on that spring season. Mm-hmm. So how have you seen just the development of younger guys and what they've been going through?
Our young, just from LB, they've done a great job taking advantage of our Zoom meetings that we had and some of our walkthroughs that we were able to do this past week. And they've been taking a great advantage of that and made the most of their opportunities. So they're picking it up well and they're coming along.
Hey, Jake. Lovey finally said that you'd be moving to the Mike linebacker, maybe the worst kept secret in the last few months. But what does that position mean to you? I know you've watched a couple guys take leadership, bigger leadership roles, I guess, in that position. What does it mean to you to kind of absorb that spot?
I knew for a while. But being the Mike linebacker obviously means a little bit more. You're making all the calls, making all the checks. Everyone's relying on you the whole time. So it's a big step, and excited to take that step and fill that role.
I know you've watched guys like Dele and Delshon over the course. Have you kind of been picking up things from them over the course of the last few years, anticipating this? I mean, was this something you kind of saw coming down the line?
Yeah, a lot of the times, in some of our game plan last year, I'd taken Mike reps for just in case purposes, or if Dele went down or things like that in training camp. I took a couple Mike reps. So getting those early on was helpful for sure.
Jake, as one of the leaders of the team, you kind of talking to the guys all the time about doing the right things, get away from the field, that kind of thing, or you not having to do that?
Sorry, I didn't really get the question.
As one of the leaders of the team, are you talking to the other guys about doing the right thing away from the field? Make sure.
Yeah, and that's something that a lot of the younger guys don't necessarily understand as much because they don't. They feel like they have a really long time, where it's more important for the seniors that they the young guys have to think about the older people because they don't necessarily they don't get that this is our last 6 months here or last year here, and they have another 3 or 4 years. So you just have to harp on that a lot.
Thanks, Jake.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Jake. It's good to see you. It's been a while.
Good to see you.
First of all, how was it just getting out there today and finally being able to practice? And how different was it than the normal practice, how it usually is before all of this, and how, a first practice would normally be?
It was a pretty typical first practice when it comes down to just straight football. But from like a regulation standpoint, it was definitely a little bit different. But we're trying to keep it as close to normal as possible. But they like our warm up was a little bit different. For example, we just had to like space out and distance ourselves a bit.
And it's kind of grim to bring this up as like the second question to you. I'm sure you want to talk about, football and getting back to playing, but you guys dealt with a number of positive tests throughout the summer as Illinois announced recently. But I asked Lovey if there's been kind of a change in team attitude or anything since that, and, guys taking things seriously and kind of, seeing if the protocol works. I'm just wondering if you think that, things are safe there, and if guys have really bought into the idea of, kind of having to be disciplined away from practice and things like that.
Okay. Yeah, I think everyone's, for the most part, is doing a good job taking care of their business. I think we're more safe here than we are at home, to be honest, because you won't find – I'm not around another group of people that's going to be tested every single day like we are. So we're getting tested every day. There's no that's safer than me being at home around my family where they're not getting tested every day. So I think I feel plenty safe, and I know that a lot of guys are doing the right things and staying inside, and it comes down to just everyone thinking of other people instead of themselves, because that's really who it's going to affect.
Absolutely. And then, looking ahead, you guys are going to be one of the first probably prime time college football matchups of the season if things progress to that point and everyone is able to safely do it. How exciting is it, and what is that challenge like knowing that you're going to have to face Ohio State?
We knew going into the year at some point we were going to play them. But it definitely means something else when it's a Thursday night and you're going to have the spotlight on you. And that's a big game for a lot of our seniors that played Ohio State, I think it was 2 or 3 years ago. And they gave us all we could handle. And I think I'm really excited for it. It definitely means a lot.
Thanks.
Jake, kind of building off of what Gavin asked, you guys have known you weren't going to have that non-conference schedule. Have you guys kind of had any discussions about maybe, not having that time to gear up? You guys are really going to have to be ready to go week one with a national title contender in Ohio State.
Yeah. The thing is, it's for everyone in the Big Ten, though, too. It's Ohio State's going through the same thing. They're not going to get any tune-up or earlier games that aren't Big Ten games to get into their tip-top shape. So, it's for everyone, and it's going to be a challenge that we're all going to have to face. So it's kind of like everyone's going through different battles. Like, it's not just affecting us or just affecting Northwestern or Wisconsin or Ohio State. It's affecting all of us.
Big Jake.
Hey, Jake, glad you're doing well. I guess the biggest question I have is in terms of coaching. Obviously, they were really proud of the performance you had last year, but what areas has Lovey or Miles spoken to you about where they want to see you improve the most heading into the season?
I think a lot of it has to do with being a better tackler. I think at times came up where missed a few bigger plays and outside, and I think tackling is a point of emphasis, and then just taking the next step mentally and not putting myself in situations, or putting the defense in situations now that I'll be making the calls and being able to make the right checks. So just taking that next step forward as well.
And then one more, health-wise, where are you at? Obviously you missed the last few games of last season. Are you back to 100%? Are you confident? Do you have any hesitancy heading into practice?
No hesitancy. I'm all go at practice. I've been all go since basically January 1, which a couple days after our bowl game. So I'm fine right now.
Thanks, Jake. Appreciate it.
Yep.
Jake, it's a little unfair for me to ask you to speak for him, but you're in his meeting. You're in the same meetings every day, and I assume he was out at practice today. But I'm sure you saw Milo made some comments in the offseason about his concerns about playing during the pandemic. I'm sure his concerns aren't unique. But as far as you know, is he locked in and 100% committed to the 2020 season, or does he still have reservations?
As far as I know, I think Milo's playing this year. That's what I have. That's what I have in my mind right now. So,
did you have any? I know you had concerns about leaving Florida and going to the summer workouts just because of what you could get done. But did you have any? Do you have any still resembling concerns about playing during the pandemic in your mind?
None. No.
Hey, Jake, Jim Cotter here. I know the possibility of playing in front of few fans, or even some cases no fans this year, is a perplexing ordeal. Just what are you prepared to have just in case there are so little fans in the stands to play, the crowd noise and whatnot? How is that going to be different than in past years?
Well, I mean, you might be able to hear everything I'm saying out there, so there's that. But and there's, I mean, a lot of the players are gonna be heard more than some of the fans is what we're kind of thinking, depending on, obviously, like you said, where we play. But to me, I'm kind of, with everything that's been said about not playing and playing with this one and playing with that, I'm just kind of happy we're able to get out there and play,
Hey, Jake, Scott Beatty here. Hope you're well. I know you addressed Ohio State, but I wonder what the conversation was when you guys as a team learned your schedule. And, as soon as it comes out, there's media folks that like to immediately prognosticate and talk about it. A lot of folks have characterized it as a tough schedule. Do you see it that way? And how much do you embrace that and the chance to maybe beat expectations on that?
Yeah, I mean, in regards to a tough schedule, I'd say the Big Ten's a tough schedule every year. Every time you play in the Big Ten, you got to show up every game, or otherwise you're gonna get beat bad. And Ohio State's obviously Big Ten champions last year, so it's a step up, and it's a preseason best competition going in. So playing them first, I think. I mean, there's advantages and disadvantages to it because Ohio State may not be in their midseason prime shape, but at the same time we aren't. So it's just challenges week to week. Awesome.
Lauren, you're up.
Jake, this is Lauren. Lovey said you're going to be tested every day. Does that mean every player every day, or does that mean some players every day?
Every player every day.
Every player every day, okay.
Yeah.
What about your helmet? Is there anything special about your helmet as a protective against the virus?
Yeah, we have a little plastic face shield, usually where, it's kind of like, I would call it the opposite of a visor. Like, visor's right in your eyes, and then this is covering your mouth. So it's a little it's not really hard though. It's like a little plastic that gives right underneath, right in this area.
Okay, and as a leader of the team, have you been involved, or are you participating in any way in the college athlete unity thing?
You're talking about what the Pac-12's doing?
Yes.
I'm not.
What the Big Ten's doing?
I mean, I haven't really looked into it too much, to be honest with you.
Thank you.
Yep. All right, awesome.